Welcome to Real Entertainment. Man, this film right here is exactly why I go to the movies. It's exactly why I even started this channel. To talk about movies, to talk about films, shows, entertainment, especially the ones that deserve to be talked about, that deserve to be praised. Believe me when I say that, like, I'm not one of those people that try to overrate things or anything like that, but I have to say this is one of the best movies I've seen in a theater. It's certainly one of the best animated films I've ever seen. Like it's got to be up there with one of the greatest animation that you've seen in a film, if not the greatest. It's definitely got to be up there with, the best animated films ever. Like hands down, not to overrate it or over exaggerate. Animation was phenomenal in this film. Um and on top of that, it's probably one of, if not the best, Spider-Man films. And if I had to guess, I mean, my hopes are high now, expectations are high, that the third film coming next year, March 2024, I believe it is, you have to hope that that's going to be as good as these first two we've gotten. And this ends up being a perfect trilogy, a great trilogy, one of the greatest trilogies, one of the greatest comic book trilogies, superhero films, that's the hope, high hopes that I have after coming out of this film. Um, because it was a great film, plain and simple. Listen, obviously, if you clicked on this video and you're listening to me right now, that means you saw the thumbnail and you saw the rating that I gave it. You see that it's a 9.9 out of 10. And in this video, I will clearly explain why it is a 9.9 out of 10 as opposed to just being a 10 out of 10, right? Why not just round it up? Well, let me explain it for you guys here. For those of you that haven't seen it or have seen it, I'm not going to spoil anything. This is a spoiler free review and discussion. And of course, we are talking about Spider Man Across the Spider Verse. Um, Listen, let's start off with talking about the animation. I touched on it briefly, right? The animation was top notch in this movie. It's some of the best animation you're gonna see in a film or TV show. Like I really can't think of too many other animated shows or movies that even come close to this. Um it really is that good. Like I'm not even trying to overrate it. It really is that good. I feel like the animators deserve a whole lot of credit and respect for their work in this. And it definitely deserves to be seen on a big screen. But I'm sure it'll look just as great on your TV back home, when this eventually comes on digital and 4K and everything. Um, but the animation was top notch. Plain and simple, was top notch. You had all different styles of animation crammed into one movie, but it worked together. It was very seamless. It was just very beautiful animation all around. Um, Next, talking about the story. Not going to get into spoilers. The story's great, plain and simple. The balance of drama and comedy in this film is done so well. When you compare comedy, for example, to, let's say, the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I am a fan of overall, but obviously a constant complaint with the MCU is that they can go overboard with the comedy, and sometimes the comedy is just, it can be just cringy or just not make you laugh sometimes, or it's in the wrong spots where there should be just a simple, pure, dramatic moment. They just have to throw a joke in there, right? They go overboard sometimes. I'll be the first to admit that. Uh, in this film, that's not even close to an issue. Just to be honest. For example, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, saw that recently. Love that film. I didn't do a review on it, but just to do a little mini review on it. I love that film from beginning to end. But one issue I did have with it is, the screaming over each other, the some of the humor didn't work for me, especially the humor with Mantis. That didn't really work for me. But I still love that film overall. I would probably give that like a 9 out of 10, maybe 8.5, 8.8 territory, but it's definitely up there. It's a really good film. Um, but this is better overall. It's overall better. And part like I said, the balance of the drama and comedy is partly why. Again, not to get into spoilers, but in this film you get, of course, more of Miles Morales. You get even some more of Spider Gwen or Spider Woman, uh, and her backstory, right? So she's kind of a main character of the film as well, which I like. That was pretty cool to see her story expanded. Um, of course, you have Miles Morales' parents and the relationship he has with his parents. And listen, I have to say, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I am a black and Hispanic male. So I can relate to a lot of, what's going on in this film, particularly when it comes to Miles Morales and his parents. So of course I'm a little biased when it comes to that. That brings up the movie a couple points for me, right? Um, but I love the dynamic of that in this film and the drama that they all have, and even with Spider Gwen's story, she's got a little something similar going on with her backstory that was very uh, entertaining to see. And I think no matter what race you are, no matter what gender, you'll relate to something with these characters. And there's obviously a lot of spider characters in this film. If you've seen any of the trailers, you know that there's a lot of spider characters in this film that you can relate to or identify with. And with that being said, there's a lot of cameos and Easter eggs. All different types of Spider-Man, Spider-Women, Spider characters that if you're a comic fan, if you're a gaming fan, if you're a fan of even a lot of other things that are Spider-Man related, you're definitely going to enjoy seeing all these cameos and Easter eggs. I want to get into it, but again, this is a spoiler free um, review. All I'm gonna say is that the whole reason why Miles Morales is a thing, the inspiration of the character gets kind of done justice in this film. I'll say that much, but I won't say any more than that. Again, some people may complain after watching this film that maybe some of the cameos and Easter eggs were a little bit fan servicey, but for me, it worked. I mean, it worked. I've seen other films and TV shows where they go overboard with that kind of stuff. I think that worked extremely well in this film. And I don't have any complaints about it personally. So, and to speak a little bit more about the film and what I liked about it, action was great. Uh, of course, backed up by the great animation. Voice work was great as usual. I have no complaints about any of the voice actors in this film. Everyone does a phenomenal job, including newcomer Oscar Isaac. Um, but let's talk about the only reason. The only reason this isn't a 10 out of 10 and it's a 9.9 was for some reason there was an issue with the sound mixing in this film. I wouldn't say it was terrible at times, but it was kind of bad. There'd be times where there was action going on and the sound effects and the music just completely took over the dialogue and you couldn't really hear what the characters were saying. And then there was other times where there was no background noise whatsoever. It was just characters talking, and you should have been able to hear what they were saying very clearly. But it's like the volume was at 50% when it should have been at 100. It was weird. And I've noticed a lot of other reviewers and people that have watched the film make the same complaint or notice the same thing. So really, that's the only reason that I wouldn't give this a 10 out of 10, and that literally that's the only other reason. Otherwise, this is a nearly perfect movie. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I mean, you may feel a little different, but it's a nearly perfect movie for me. I highly recommend you go out and watch it. When you do, please come back to the channel. Let's talk about it in the comments below. Let's discuss it more. Tell me what you like, tell me what you didn't like, and are you as hyped as I am for the next film? Let me know.